So here we go, more or less mechanically complete. I still haven't got the rear bearing holder on there, but yeah, looking good. It's running through the test pattern now, changing directions lots, stopping, starting, one axis, other axis, both axes, both directions, blah blah blah. That's running with no microstepping. I'll turn microstepping back on, so this will be closer to the speed at which it moves in normal operation. It doesn't look very fast, but it's the sort of end speed that's important. And remember, it's going to be dragging a steel ball through sand, so we don't want it to move too fast, otherwise it'll cause problems. Yeah, I think it's great so far. I did crack this arm when I was putting that pin in, but it's not a problem. It bears almost no force. While I was assembling this, I incorporated some design fixes into the models as I was going, but for the most part I just bodged this up to make it go. This is a one-off thing, so if I make it easy for the next person by fixing the design defects, that's great, but I'm not going to reprint parts with the fixes. So one of the fixes was I made this arm a bit shorter to allow for easier tensioning of that belt, and I made the slots longer, so you got a bit more travel distance in that arm length. I had to actually file some of the plastic back there and there to free up, to let it contract a little bit more. I redesigned that gear down inside there. There it is. I added some better lips on the top and bottom to help retain the belt a little bit more. It hasn't come off, but it looks like it might. I don't know. And I also, I did the same thing for this belt here. I added some beefier belt retaining lips on there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that mechanically. I've just got to solve the bottom bearing problem. I've been putting that off. I can't think of a really neat way of doing it, so I just might do something that's not necessarily that neat. Again, it's a one-off. But I'm not sure if it really needs it, because like this shaft has almost no force acting on it. It's got the tension of that belt, which is almost exactly countered by the tension of that belt, and so that one, I've got a shadow. That belt is pulling that way at that point. This belt is pulling that way at this point. So it's got a slight twisting moment, like it wants to try to twist it that way a little bit. So that's why this back bearing exists, to cancel out that torque. But I don't know if it's necessary. You see in there I've cross-drilled a hole through the center to put a retaining pin in there, but then when I came back to assemble everything I realized that the pin, I couldn't fit the washer in there because the steppers are in the way, so I don't really have a neat solution to that. Unfortunately, this shaft is slightly too short to get a retaining pin through the end after that bearing. So I guess over time this shaft might walk its way out, but I don't know. We'll see how we go. So I've got to codify the shaft lengths and where the cross drill holes are. So you see that one, the shaft doesn't come all the way through the plastic. It should do, but I just had a short length of 8mm smooth rod left over for something else, so I just scavenged that. I want to do up some drawings or something that shows where the holes need to go. And the other thing I wanted to change was that pin there. See how it's sort of axial with the long axis of that arm? I want to make it perpendicular so it's easier to tap the pin through the shaft. It's a bit of a ball ache to do it the way it is, but you know, I'm pretty happy with that. Now it's basically just the woodworking side of things and the software. Okay, bye bye.